Hello and a warm welcome to the Federal. I'm Neelu Vyas. After speaking in Lok Sabha yesterday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a 90-minute speech inside Rajya Sabha, recounting the achievements of his government. There was no word on Adani. He spoke nothing about the Hindenburg report, nothing as far as assuaging the concerns of the investors. All guns were trained towards Congress. And he came down heavily on Congress, in fact, saying that it was Mrs. Gandhi who misused Article 356 50 times. It was Jawaharlal Nehru who threw out the first democratically elected left government in Kerala. And he was all in criticism for the opposition, saying that Congress does a vote bank politics and people have dismissed Congress completely. And the more muck is thrown by Congress and the opposition parties, the better the lotus will bloom. On the other hand, if you talk about the movements on the Adani crisis, there are two PILs which were filed in the Supreme Court, one by Mr. Vishal Tiwari and the other one by Mr. M.L. Sharma. And they have sought a court-monitored probe into this short seller Hindenburg researchers' conspiracy against the Adani group. And the hearing is expected tomorrow. So the question we are asking is that through his speech, has Narendra Modi completely dismissed the Adani crisis, especially coming after the Hindenburg report? Has the government won over the argument as far as the Hindenburg report is concerned, or do we see it as brazening out on the part of the government? I'm joined by veteran panelists, and I'll introduce you to them. I'm joined by Nishant Rawal, who's a Congress spokesperson, joining me. Thank you so much, Nishant. I have with me veteran journalist Parsa Venkateshwar Rao Jr. Thank you so much, Parsa. I have with me Sumitra Goenka, who's a market analyst. Thank you, Sumitra. And hopefully, Gopal Krishnan Agarwal, who is the BJP spokesperson, he will also be joining us. But in the meanwhile, we'll begin the discussion with Parsa. Parsa, if you've heard Prime Minister's speech today, there was actually no word on Adani, no word on the Hindenburg report. Now, how does one really analyze what the Prime Minister has said? He's completely deflected the attention from the Hindenburg report or the Adani crisis towards the wrongdoings done by Congress.
Neelu, I think we have to give it to the Prime Minister and the BJP whether they recognize the Adani crisis or not until it hits them. So far, they feel that they don't have to answer for it because it has not yet touched them near the government. It's a market phenomenon. The Adani shares have fallen and they're also recovering. And the connection between the Prime Minister Modi and the BJP and the favors done to the Adanis from this government remains an allegation, a political allegation, and it is not yet a legal case where it has to be proven where some corruption has happened or not. So I think the Prime Minister is within his right to sidestep the issue, and he chose, it's like in cricket, leaving the ball alone, not touching it, sort of thing. That he has done. But my problem with the Prime Minister's speech is, and it is not something new, he does it always year after year in the last 9 years. One, he doesn't participate in any parliamentary debate as such. The only time he speaks in parliament is while giving his reply to the motion of thanks to the president's address. And this opportunity the Prime Minister uses to give a speech which has nothing to do with the issues being discussed, or he doesn't even follow the parliamentary norm of answering his critics, of answering the questions, whether they are important or not, whether they are hitting him or not. Parliamentary etiquette requires that the Prime Minister address those things. But he has never done all these years. At the most, he would take a swipe at the opposition directly or indirectly, and that is what he has done again. And the other problem, major problem I have with the Prime Minister's address every time, and again this time too, he's not addressing the condition of the economy right now. There is inflation, there is a problem. There are uncertainties on the global front. The oil prices are going to go up because of the Ukraine thing. He doesn't seem to be living in the present. He doesn't seem to be dealing with the reality as it exists now. So he's always on a different kind of a plane. Speaking of 2047, when India will complete 100 years and what India will be. And then he will speak about his welfare measures, which he has taken in these 9 years, and there is no scrutiny as to how much it has impacted, what is the social audit. But sometimes I feel even the opposition does not nail the government strongly and specifically enough, and so he gets away. He has an escape.
Parsa, you felt that in this matter, especially post the Hindenburg report and the kind of crisis which evolved, you feel that the opposition has not raised the heat as much as it should have been doing?
In the sense, the Adani crisis right now is in the market sphere,
Right.
Unless you are able to make the connection and say, if you read the Hindenburg report, it says that these are the shell companies which Gautam Adani's brother stationed in Mauritius is misusing to transfer funds. Now, what the opposition could have done is to see whether the infrastructure projects which the Adanis run, whether it is in the ports or the airports, whether it's the defense production, whether that has been harmed, whether that has been impacted. And for that, the opposition would have had to do a lot of homework, and which they are not doing. It's a rhetorical flourish against the Prime Minister, against the BJP, which is a legitimate thing to do. But then the Prime Minister knows how to duck the questions.
Absolutely.
Because he's not directly involved.
Yeah, you made an important point. Let me go to Nishant Rawal on this. Nishant, opposition did not probably do its homework, or it did not raise the issue in the manner in which it should have. What is the problem? Like the Prime Minister completely seems to have been winning over this argument. We all expected that he's going to say something on Adani, he will say something on the Hindenburg, but he didn't make a mention of that. And the kind of speech which he made looked like a complete failure on the part of the Congress. So did he succeed in deflecting the attention? And why shouldn't the questions be asked of Congress that, did you raise the issue enough inside the House?
See, Niluji, first of all, homework has been already done by Hindenburg, which is the major popular investigation, one kind of company and agency in the world who is, always putting their focus on this big empires. Congress has tried to show that report in front of Parliament to the government that could you please just try to answer, is this report is right, or is there any truth mentioned in this report or not? But first time in the history of Indian Parliament, I've seen the Prime Minister Modi ji, instead of answering back to the people of India's questions or opposition question, he started pointing opposition. See, PM Modi speaks about 90 minutes in his speech in Lok Sabha yesterday. You have seen, and I think equivalent in Rajya Sabha today. But instead of using a word, even A of Adani, single time, he played a victim card by abusing Congress and entire opposition. See, it proves that what is the relation between Adani and PM Modi. See, we are not questioning.
No, but Nishant, yesterday also, if you look at his speech in Lok Sabha, there was a one complete insistence throughout his speech, and that was that you bring in the papers, bring in the documents. So I mean, more or less, whatever discussions have happened, people have said that, okay, if you want JPC or if you want a Supreme Court monitored inquiry, where are the papers to show the collusion between Adani and Narendra Modi? So do you think that only slogan shouting will help? Because today also we heard slogans like Modi, Adani, Bhai, Bhai. But that kind of slogan shouting, is it really going to help? Prime Minister made his speech and got away, winning over the argument completely.
Niluji, why ED been established in India? Why CBI been established in India? Why NIA been established in India? Why all the investigation agencies established in India in the rule of Congress government to investigate and provide their actual report about this kind of financial fraud? If Adani is not friend of Modi ji, he could say that he is imposing the inquiry, or he is imposing this all agencies to provide black and white to me, you, all the panelists of this channel and people of India. But he just refused that thing. Even he couldn't speak about cost inflation. He couldn't speak about unemployment. I think his speech in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha was only focusing on 9 states elections, which are happening this year. So it was just an election speech. We do not need election speech in Parliament, Niluji. Why the chairman of the Electricity Board of Sri Lankan government put the focus that because of the pressure from Indian government, because of the pressure of Modi ji, Sri Lankan president has to give the contract for the electricity entire department to Adani. So all questions arise, and we see our Congress party focus is not Adani. Any businessman has right to do their business, expand their business widely in India and the entire world. We always feel proud when our businessman reaches on top. But the question is, Modi ji is parliamentarian. Adani is not parliamentarian. So Rahul Gandhi ji is also parliamentarian. One parliamentarian is asking question to a second parliamentarian that the third party did this kind of financial fraud.
Why is there a perception that the opposition is not asking the right questions as far as this Adani crisis is concerned? Everything is floating in the market atmosphere, and the entire issue has become so political that are we asking the right questions from the government? Government has so easily deflected the entire crisis.
Niluji, we asked three major questions. See, the company which is running their business in India since 150 years, they couldn't reach to world's top 10 richest person. What happened suddenly that till 2014, Adani group of companies and Mr. Gautam Adani was 609 richest person in the world, and he came on the second position in 2022 just in 8 years. What happens when Adani Enterprises share was 150 rupees? It can expand to 5 times, 7 times, 10 times. But Adani Enterprises share reaches to 4,000 rupees just in past 4 years. What kind of magic happened in India that Adani total net worth was $8 billion till 2014, and in past 3 years his net worth increased by $100 billion, and he is on $120 billion and became world's second largest businessman. See, India having 84,000 startups, Niluji. India having 7,000 different listed companies, different listed industries in India. 7,000 different industries in India. If Modi ji can provide us the magic, or if Modi ji can provide us the algorithm how to become world's richest businessman within 4 to 5 years, then India will become richest country in the world. That is our question. That is our question, that why you are not showing that algorithm, and why you are supporting only one person. You have given entry of India by giving ports and airports to a one company. You have given everything. Adani has no manufacturing company, Niluji, no manufacturing company. He is basically into service industry, right? He just he bought Ambuja Cement, ACC Cement. He became a shareholder in NDTV just recently. But since he has started business in 1988, since 1988, he has not manufactured anything, and his share prices, his net worth become this much solid. See, we feel proud, but Hindenburg put so many questions with confidence, and not only Hindenburg, even today, Morgan Stanley Capital investigation, even MSCI. Acknowledge Hindenburg report today that yes, whatever Hindenburg says, he has done money laundering. He has 38. His brother Vinod Adani is operating 38 shell companies from the country named Mauritius, which is very popular for this kind of routes. So it's purely money laundering. LIC has invested 36,000 crore in Adani Group. We don't mind. LIC is investing in so many companies, right? SBI has invested 29,000 crore in Adani Group. We don't mind. SBI is investing everybody. But when a middle class of this country is going for 35 lakh worth of loan just for the 2 BHK house, right? This SBI, this LIC is asking for so many collateral, documents.
Nishant,
this is my money. This is your money.
We have Sumitra Goenka, who is already there as a market analyst. I think Gopal Krishna Agarwal is joining, so we'll just wait for him to join. But a quick comment from you, Sumitra, that the Adani shares are still tanking. What is the reason for that? Gopal Krishna Agarwal, BJP spokesperson, is already there. So maybe, Sumitra, I'll come to you later and let me go to him because he was in a hurry, he was saying. Gopalji, I would just thank you so much for joining on the Federal. But my question is that we were discussing about Prime Minister's speech today inside Rajya Sabha. He didn't say a word on Adani, he didn't say a word on Hindenburg report, but he completely seemed to have deflected the attention towards Congress. He trained all his guns towards Congress, saying that, look, it was Congress in the yesteryears which misused Article 356. It was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru who dethroned the first democratically elected left government. But people were waiting to hear from him as if, you know, he would have said something on Adani, something to assuage the sentiments of the investors. Why was Modi ji so dismissive today and even yesterday?
No, but already the issue has been responded to by the regulators and those who are responsible for regulating. The thing is that Finance Minister has already given the response to the issue. The SEBI has also responded. The SBI has also given its position. RBI has also given its position. LIC has also said about it. The thing is a competition commission. The system in the country, how it works, we have to understand. In a democracy, there are institutions and there are agencies which look into the affairs. On everything, you cannot say that Prime Minister should answer. And then if the answer is there.
No, but even the SEBI, Mr. Agarwal, SEBI made a statement Saturday. It didn't even name Adani. It didn't even name Adani.
No, but what was the subject yesterday and today? The subject was the president's presidential address. So did opposition talk on anything about the presidential address? Did they? There is a notice on 369 to the opposition that whatever documents you have put on the place of the house, they have to be authenticated. Have you done it? The thing is, what was the subject of this? And this is not the one case. You see it in the Rafale. The Prime Minister has said that you don't respect the institutions. If you lose the election, you will blame the EVM. You will question the Election Commission. If the Supreme Court gives a clarity on Rafale or SIT or Gujarat Riot, you will believe on BBC. Then you will talk again on the Rafale, even put the words in the name of the Supreme Court. And
but does that mean, Mr. Agarwal, does that mean that whichever institution or whichever agency is trying to show the mirror to the government will completely dismiss it?
Which is
showed the reality of Gujarat riots, it was completely dismissed. Hindenburg,
will you in India, which is the institution you will respect? Supreme Court or BBC? Tell me.
No, but is it not the duty of the government to find out what has gone wrong through the Hindenburg report?
I'm asking everybody, who will you believe? In surgical strike, you will believe Pakistan or Indian Army?
Okay, we have veteran journalist Parsa Venkateshwar Rao. He has a point to make.
Niloji,
Nishant, I'll come to you. Nishant, I'll come to you.
Very quickly, please give me 10 seconds.
I'll come to you. Nishant, I'll come to you. Let me go to Parsa.
I'm waiting. I just want to ask Mr. Agarwal, if BBC is not to be believed, and he's perfectly right, we should, between the Supreme Court and the BBC, we believe the Supreme Court indeed. But why is there the need for the government to ban the BBC documentary when they have nothing to fear?
That is because there is an ecosystem. There is an ecosystem which will take any international issue or which will not take the supremacy of the national interest. In the crisis when there is a Ukraine and Russia war, they will say if we import oil from the Russia, they will say listen to the European countries. So national interests have to be supreme, and if you undermine the national interest on a report of an international. Already Hindenburg is a short seller. They have a vested interest. They have disclosed it. They have a vested interest in the whole report. So why are you not acknowledging that? And which is the agency which will take care of all these issues? SEBI will take care. RBI will take care. Who will take care?
So between Adani's interest, one with the national interest.
So this is the thing. The only thing is that
Mr. Agarwal, answer to this question.
Supreme in the hands of the Supreme in the opposition. They will take every aspect to undermine the Modi and national interest.
No,
The
Gopalji,
thing
you
is,
didn't answer that question, Mr. Gopal.
I have answered everything.
No, but is
I have
are
answered
Adani's
everything.
interests?
I
Are
have
Adani's
answered.
interests?
Who
Mr.
will
Gopal,
you
are
answer?
Adani's interests similar to
Rafale, you
nation's
tell
interests?
me in the Rafale case, why again and again the same thing when it was settled by the Supreme Court, still why Rahul Gandhi put that the Supreme Court is saying Chaukidar
Mr.
Chor.
Agarwal, if Hindenburg report is against the national interest, so protecting the interests
No,
of
it
Adani
is not. We are not saying opposition is against the national interest. I'm telling you on record, opposition is against the national interest. They will take international, they will do whatever they want. International agencies will do. But as a country, as an opposition, as a democracy, we have to take the care of national interest. No, in international community, international, any country, no other opposition, etc., will undermine national interest in the for their political gains. And in our country, opposition takes every opportunity. This is not the first opportunity. It is several. I have underlined several opportunities where they will take care of, look after their political interest, even to undermine the national interest. It is surgical strike. It is elect. We are considered to be very healthy and very strong democracy. Okay. But opposition will question the result of the election by saying that the EVM has been hacked. So you are undermining the Prime Minister's office for your political gains. You are undermining the interest. You are undermining, opposition is undermining the mandate of the people. They are not accepting that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been elected, and this is the second time he has been elected, and he is the most leader in the country. They cannot reconcile with the democratic values in the country.
No, but Mr. Agarwal, so from what you are saying, are we to assume that let the opposition shout, but the government will not ask anything on Adani?
No, the Prime Minister said if they have a constructive criticism, we are ready. Ask us whether
what is the constructive criticism?
No, ask us if we are saying that on the budget, such a good budget is there. Global community was looking into the what will become in the budget. They have not discussed the budget. The whole budget has been subverted. They should discuss what is the futuristic orientation of the budget, what we have done for the agriculture sector.
Let me just go to this now. Gopalji, just hold on your thoughts. Gopalji, just hold on your thoughts. Nishant Rawal, the accusation by Mr. Agarwal is that you all don't indulge yourself in constructive criticism. Now, where on earth will you bring a constructive criticism?
For the country, we are ready to discuss and listen to what we are saying, then criticize. But if you just say आरोप प्रत्यारोप का क्या जवाब दोगे? कल मैं कह दूं कि आप तो चोर हो तो आप करते रहो।
नीलू जी,
even jurisprudence says that the person who is alleging anybody, he has to prove it. Innocence is not
Neeluji, can I reply?
Yeah. Mr. Agarwal, just hold on your thoughts. Mr. Agarwal, just let him respond. He wants to say something. Yes, Nishant.
Neeluji, BJP spokesperson and entire BJP is only ready to hear when they come on debates and media. They don't want to hear opposition in parliament at all. He said that in the terms of wait, sir. Sir, listen you carefully. Gentlemen, listen carefully.
Mr. Agarwal, just let him make this point. I'll come back to you. Yes.
Have some patience.
Have some patience.
Have some patience, Mr. Gentleman. Have some patience. Have some patience. You have to listen opposition. You have to listen opposition. Have some patience. Have some patience. Neeluji, can you please mute him?
Mr. Agarwal, just let him speak.
Neeluji, he said that for BBC documentary, because BBC is the the foreign agency, so we have to believe Supreme Court. Okay, but for a movie and for its song, we don't need to believe censor board. We have to believe the boycott gang. BJP has to believe boycott gang. BJP has to support the boycott gang. But when we are talking about BBC documentary against the Prime Minister of India, then we have to believe Supreme Court. Number two, he said that Western agencies are ruining the image of India. Okay, if you have definitely problem with all the Western agencies, then why you are taking money from World Bank and IMF regularly? In fact, the criteria for taking loans from World Bank and IMF has been increased a lot in past 8 years. India's total debt was 57,000 crore, and right now 57 lakh crore. And right now India's total debt is 150 lakh crore, 100 lakh crore. India's debt been increased in Modi government. Still you are taking money from these Western agencies, right? So you cannot have two faces. We are just asking for inquiry. We are just asking for JPC. Why you are not forming JPC?
No,
Why
but
you are
Nishant, tell me
supporting a
one
third
thing.
party?
Now, can you prove, Nishant, my point is, as a Congress spokesperson, can you prove the collusion between Adani and Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Can you bring in documents? Don't rely on the Hindenburg report. As Gopal Krishna Agarwal is saying, why should we believe the Hindenburg report? Where on earth will you bring the documents to prove the collusion between Narendra Modi and Mr. Adani? Can you bring in those papers, substantiate yourself before the Prime Minister and before the government?
See, work speaks
the
louder than
regulatory
word.
agency.
Niluji,
Give
when
it to
in
SEBI.
No, let him
2019,
speak.
in
I'll come back to you,
December
Mr. Agarwal.
2000,
Yes.
in December 2019, in January 2020, Rahul Gandhi ji predicted that Corona will mess up our country. Corona is coming. Please stop Namaste Trump program. What happened? Rahul Gandhi ji truth came out. Same in farmers Andolan. What happened? Rahul Gandhi ji said this 3 Kala Kanun will affect all farmers in India. Indian government has to retrieve it back from the parliament. What happens after 1 year, after 700 farmers dead? Indian government of PM Modi has to cancel those 3 kanuns from both the sessions of parliament. So same way, Rahul Gandhi ji is predicting that Adani has done something wrong. But if it's matter of only 14 lakh rupees, you are bringing Mr. Sanjay Raut, Shiv Sena leader, in jail. This is the matter of 14,000 crore, more than 14 lakh crore, more than that. And you are not talking about ED, you are not talking about CBI.
One second. Now just hold your thoughts, Nishant. Let Mr. Agarwal respond to this. Mr. Agarwal, where is ED? Where is CBI? This is a crisis. Everybody is asking that where are the enforcement agencies now? Why is the government so quiet, and why is the government being accused of double standards here? The points which Nishant Rawal was raising right now.
You are not understanding what is government. Government is an institution.
Government is for the people, by the people.
Nishant, don't cross talk.
Nishant, by the people.
Nishant, please don't cross talk. Nishant, please hold your thoughts. Hold your thoughts. Let him speak. Yes.
Government is what? What is government? RBI is not government. SEBI is not government. SBI or LIC is not government. Minister of Finance is not government. They have responded. They have done everything. You look into the Google, I have responded. I have told what is the thing. The thing is, they don't want to listen. They just want to create a ruckus.
So are we to assume that no questions will be asked of Adani? No questions will be asked of the government now?
Everything is being
down on the Adani crisis.
Everything is being answered. Everything you want us to take side of one particular corporate or anything. What do you want? If you want an answer, SEBI is giving the answer. If you want an answer, RBI has given the answer. The finance minister has given the answer. SEBI and LIC, SBI and LIC has said that we are still sitting on the profits in our investments. There is no risk on that. Even international agencies have said, credit rating agencies have said that the cash flow is sufficient to meet those things. And we will look into whatever crisis happens. I am a chartered accountant.
You are waiting for crisis.
I understand the financial market. I understand the financial markets. The thing is, the crisis or anything which you say, exchanges, we have the very well compliant and very well regulated market. Our national stock exchange 2 days, 3 days back has crossed the high. It is the highest turnover exchange in the world. On equity market, it is the 3rd highest
Mr. Agarwal, you are saying that there is no financial fraud, there is no financial
No,
manipulation
I'm not
of
saying,
all the
I'm not saying,
made by the Hindenburg Report.
you are, don't put words into my mind. I'm not saying that there is nothing. There are agencies, there are regulators, they will look into the thing, and if there is
Okay.
any problem, they will take action. As far as the
Okay, fine.
financial
Fair
market, no,
Fair-
as far
fair
as
enough.
the financial market, exchange, etc., are concerned, they are, so what I am saying that those say, they have said that they are completely above risk. Our investor, individual fraud will be taken care of the agencies and those who are responsible. If I commit a fraud in the market, it is SEBI will take action on me.
Okay,
SEBI
fine.
is the answerable person. If the
Right.
SEBI doesn't do its duty, then Ministry of Finance will take care of it. If RBI doesn't do, there is a level through which the things move. This mindset of opposition is nothing. They are doing only politics. Therefore, the issues get complicated.
Okay,
Otherwise,
okay.
they are ready to answer everything. And the thing is that we have to work for the country. It requires time, energy, effort. You just cannot go into what is the role of the parliament? The role of parliament in the constitution says that legislation and making law is the primary responsibility of parliament. They don't allow any parliament to function on legislation.
Fine. Yes, Mr. Agarwal, you've made your point. Now, let me towards the last lap, I couldn't go to Sumitra. Let me come to her first. Sumitra, what about the investor sentiments? Do you think that the investors are really impacted post the Hindenburg report? Whatever's happened, do you think that there is some kind of a panic scene in the market as far as the investors are concerned?
Not really, Niluji. I had spoken earlier also that investor sentiments are affected by several things. It is not just the report of Hindenburg which has caused the shares to fall, or it has not affected the entire.
Is this panic manufactured? Are you saying that this panic is manufactured?
To some extent, yes, because what happened is when the report came in, there was a lot of bombardment of propaganda, I would say, which started saying that, Adanis have done this and that without any proper investigations which happened in India. So naturally, these are investors who always want to safeguard their money. So initially, people, become skeptical, and the sentiments because of lack of information or the flow of certain amount of information.
Haven't the investors lost money, Sumitra? Haven't the investors lost money? I was reading stories where people have lost 2 crores, where people have lost 5 crores. So
See, stock market is a market condition. When people invest in a stock market, I think they know that there is a risk involved. It's not like you put your money in the bank and you will get a steady flow of income of 7% or 6% year on year or month on month.
Yeah,
people who invest in stocks are prepared for that kind of a
Sumitra, just hold on. Mr. Agarwal wants to make a point.
Yeah, in the market, the disclosure is very important. Hindenburg has clearly disclosed that they are benefited out of this. They have disclosed that they are the short sellers. It's a market where the fight of the bulls and bears takes place. So market is a different situation, and the country and national interest is quite different. It's not our national interest.
What about 38 shell companies?
Just hold on.
One more thing here is the shares fell down to 1,000 rupees.
I'm really running short on time. Please, I have to go to Parsa now, towards the last leg now. Parsa,
can I complete my point, Nilu? I hardly got time today.
Very briefly. What
I was saying is, see, there are, I completely agree with Mr. Agarwal. I told this earlier also, that Modi ji is not gifting projects to Adani. They have won all the projects after a proper bidding process, and hence he is not answerable. The due diligence of the bidding process has been followed, and if anybody has any issues with respect to that, they can approach the respective courts that the bidding process was not transparent or there are any issues. Otherwise, these are large infrastructure projects which involves huge capital investment, and because of that, there is a huge debt also. But as long as the business continuity is there, as long as he is able to manage his assets and debts properly, there is no issue, there is no problem. And Adani till now has no defaults. Rather, he has prepaid some part of it. So I think the sentiments are coming back towards it. It's a stable stock so far, what we come
Parsa, now I want to come to you. I'm sorry, I have to cut you short. Parsa, So Adani has not done no fraud. Government is saying that the opposition is crying without any reason. So what do we assume? Post the Hindenburg report, has the government succeeded in brazening out this crisis? The government won't answer, no matter how much the opposition raises the heat. What do we
I
assume?
have answered so many questions.
Mr. Agarwal, let me go to Parsa. Parsa, you have put across your points.
Okay, why you are saying nobody is answering?
Actually, opposition is asking the wrong questions and making a fool of themselves.
Okay, let me get in a word from Parsa. Yes, Parsa, go ahead. Please. Yes.
Neelu, the problem is the Adani thing is out in the market. The jury is out. We have to find out how much Hindenburg has really nailed Adani. So we should not depend on Adani, but carry out our own investigation. The second thing is there is no doubt that the BJP and Mr. Modi have favored Adani a lot. But you cannot make a criminal case on
again.
I'll come to you for
They are very, very biased.
Please appeal in case you feel so. Courts of law.
Mr. Agarwal, I'll come to you.
This is again allegation. Give us a proof. Give to the SEBI. Give to the court. You are saying that there is no judicial system in the country. There is no regulator. Only what the journalist will say or Rahul Gandhi.
Parsa, complete his point.
No. What I'm saying is, so far there is no.
Mr. Agarwal, let's hear out Parsa what he's saying. Just a moment.
There is no proven wrong done by the Adanis so far, but it does not deny the fact that the BJP government of Mr. Modi favors the Adanis, which is a perfect example of crony capitalism, and they have every right to do so. And we have to catch the Adanis and the BJP and Mr. Modi when they have taken the wrong.
There is no proof, sir.
Okay. No, Sumitra, don't budget, please.
No, these are crony socialists who will cry that Garibi Hatao and do nothing.
Okay, so let me get in a last word from Nishant Rawal. Nishant Rawal, if we're all saying this is an example.
The poor have been benefited the most. 220 crore vaccination, 3.5 crore.
We've heard enough about these achievements.
11 crore.
Enough about those achievements. Mr. Agarwal, let's not waste time on those achievements.
I think Hindenburg also should be investigated.
So they will not talk on this.
They will not talk on this.
8 crore.
What I want to ask you is,
water tap connection. They will not. Is it not the welfare of the people that we are doing?
Nishant, I want to ask you now. No, listen to my question first. I'm saying that can you bring in the documents now to prove the collusion of Mr. Adani with Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all what I'm asking. Towards the last, please. And very briefly.
Neeluji, when any parliamentarian is asking question in parliament, they have to submit documents to the Adhyaksh of
but where are the documents? Has Congress shown the documents?
Documents has been submitted. It's not. We cannot show publicly.
Parliamentarians were only shouting. That is what is
Hold on, please. Hold on. Yes.
They reserve right to shout. When there is
only shouting, they were not doing anything else.
Okay. I think I'll have to end it here.
And asking the wrong questions.
Okay. So Nishant, you keep shouting. Mr. Agarwal is smiling. Yes, Mr. Agarwal, last word. Last 40 seconds only.
We will cry that we will save the poor and minorities and do nothing.
India got independent after 2014.
Okay.
That's what you want to say.
Opposition should ask the correct questions in the interest of people, not the wrong questions.
The entire issue is getting drowned now. I have to end the debate. I'm really running short of time. Thanks so much, Nishant Rawal, Mr. Agarwal. It was wonderful to have you on the program. Parsa, thank you so much. Sumitra, sorry for not giving you enough time, but I'm really running short of time. Thank you so much. Stay tuned to the Federal.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more interesting updates.